Genesis chapter 30. Jacob has a lot of children. His wives are competing with each other, and then he has an agreement with Laban. Verses 1 through 3. Now when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said to Jacob, "Give me children or else I will die." And Jacob's anger was aroused against Rachel, and he said, "Am I in the place of God, who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb?" So she said, "Here's my maid Bilhah, go in to her, and she will bear a child on my knees, that I also may have children by her." From the end of last chapter, Jacob's other wife, Leah, bore him 4 sons. And so Rachel, who's the first and favorite wife, is insanely jealous. She's blaming Jacob. "Give me a child or I will die. Jacob, you're horrible." But it's not like it's Jacob's fault. So Jacob is angry. He's like, "I don't control this." They commit a similar sin to the one Sarah and Abraham did a few chapters back. Sarah couldn't have children. Sarah gave Hagar, her servant, to Abraham. And then Abraham bore a son, Ishmael, with Hagar. That was a sin though. And now they're doing the same thing, just because Rachel is jealous of her sister. Verse 8. Then Rachel said, "With great wrestlings I have wrestled with my sister, and indeed I have prevailed." So she called his name Naphtali. She's not even really worried about having a child. She just wants to be better than her sister. Indeed I have prevailed against her sister. She could care less about the child. Verses 9 and 10. When Leah saw that she had stopped bearing, she took Zilpah her maid and gave her to Jacob as wife. Then Leah's maid Zilpah bore Jacob a son. So the cycle of jealousy continues. Leah does the same thing. She has already given Jacob 4 sons, but now she gives her maid. Jacob gets another son out of Leah. Verse 12. Leah's maid Zilpah bore Jacob a son. Then Leah said, "I'm happy, for the daughters will call me blessed." She's just happy to have more children than her sister Rachel. And so in these verses, Rachel and Leah have a fight. They're trying to one-up each other, trying to be better than each other. Verse 16. When Jacob came out the field in the evening, Leah went out to meet him and said, "You must come in to me, for I have surely hired you with my son's mandrakes." And he lay with her that night. She basically just beat Rachel to her husband. She says, "Come lay with me, let's have a child," just to be better than her sister. And so Leah actually ends up having 2 more sons and also a daughter. Crazy what people will do out of competition and out of jealousy. Verses 22 through 24. Then God remembered Rachel, and God listened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bore a son and said, "God has taken away my reproach." So she called his name Joseph and said, "The Lord shall add to me another son." God is like, okay, this is getting out of hand. Leah is getting too cocky. Let's give Rachel, the first wife, a natural child. That was Jacob's 11th son. And he has a daughter too. That is 12 children. As crazy as it happened, his descendants are starting to be numerous, just like God said. Verses 25 and 26. And it came to pass when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, "Send me away, that I may go to my own place and to my country. Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you know my service which I have done for you." But Laban wants him to stay, and so he tries to make a deal with Jacob. Verses 29 and 30. So Jacob said to him, "You know how I have served you, and how your livestock has been with me. For what you had done before I came was little, and it has increased to a great amount. The Lord has blessed you since my coming. And now, when shall I also provide for my own house?" Jacob is right. He's been working hard, and he's been doing everything Laban has said to him. Laban has grown to be successful because of Jacob's hard work. But Laban is like, "You're right. Let me give you something." Jacob said, "You don't have to give me much. I will sort your flock of sheep. I'll take the spotted and speckled ones. You get the nice plain ones that are better, and this will make your flock better too." It benefits both of them. So Jacob says, "I'll take sheep you don't want, the spotted and speckled ones and the goats. You can take all the good ones, but this will benefit both of us because I also need a flock of my own." So they end up going through with this. Jacob gets his own, but he also tends to Laban's flocks before he goes. Still benefits them both. Verse 43. Thus the man became exceedingly prosperous, and had large flocks, female and male servants, and camels and donkeys. What I didn't really show that there was a lot that went on. This chapter was pretty long and confusing, but it shows that over a long period of time, great things can still happen. You'll just have to wait for them. You can do things that will not only benefit you, but benefit other people. And a good example of one of those things is just being a God-centered person. One, it's going to make the people around you better. You'll all be living in a loving community, but it's going to make you better, and you're eventually going to go to heaven. Jacob achieved success for all his hard work that he did, and he also brought success to Laban, which he didn't even really like at first, because Laban was kind of holding him captive. The other thing is that you have to be careful with people you surround yourself with, because some people are centered around all the wrong things. Rachel and Leah, They're very competitive. It's not good competition at all. They're competing to be better than one another, and that's not what we're called to do. We're all called to be a community that supports each other and becomes successful with each other as a result of each other. I think that's the main message for Genesis chapter 30. Thank you for watching.